Durst the worst?
Durst the worst.
Durst the worst.
Durst the worst.
Durst the worst.
Ooh, Durst the worst.
Durst is the worst.
Durst the worst.
Durst the worst. Durst the worst.
Durst the worst.
Durst the worst.
All right, so here is an example of toxic femininity and just simply CRT, indoctrination, run amok. This chick basically wouldn't convict this stabber, murderer, because he was Blake. Check this out.
A jury foreman speaking out about what was going through her mind moments before a high-profile murder case ended in a mistrial. 7's Nicole Insalata reports.
We just need to follow the law as they instructed us to do and not put our emotions into this.
But one of the jurors
so no whammon.
Charged with deciding the fate of accused murderer Deontay Rizilla says that's exactly what happened in the jury room. The trial ended this week with a hung jury, and the foreperson says 3 jurors were unwilling to convict Rizilla based on his race.
You hear that shit? So there's like 3. That should be immediately disqualifying. I mean, that, having any sort of allegiance to like far lefty groups like BLM or buying into intersectionality or anything, and someone who would come to this conclusion would definitely show signs of that for sure.
Said, I don't want to send a young black male to jail for the rest of their life or have them get the death sentence.
Rizilla could face either of those most severe penalties if he's convicted of killing Jill Sue. Prosecutors say Rizilla broke into the 59-year-old's Davie home intending to commit burglary, but when he found her inside, tied her up, and stabbed her 24 times.
Wow,
his DNA found on a knife and...
Dude, look at that fucking piece. Look at that arsenal, dude. He came in like fucking Kilgore from fucking Killer Instinct, or like Goldar from fucking Power Rangers, or the Shredder, some other crazy. What the fuck?
They found on a knife and inside the home. He was arrested, charged with murder, and 2 years later escaped from the courthouse during a hearing. Investigators tracked him down nearly a week later. Finally, in late November, the trial. And after 6 days of...
Dude, that was premeditated shit with that arsenal and him escaping.
Deliberation.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my understanding you have reached a verdict.
They had Rizilla guilty of manslaughter, or so it seemed. When it came time for the foreperson to confirm the verdict in open court, she couldn't do it.
This is your verdict?
No. I took a deep breath. I'm staring at the judge and at the clerk, and we're locking eyes, and I'm looking at each of one of them, and they're just waiting for my verdict of either yes, I agree, or no, and I just couldn't, and that's why I said no.
She said most of the jury was ready to convict Rizilla of at least second-degree murder, but 3 refused because the defendant is black. They compromised on manslaughter, but she said she had a pit in her stomach and she changed her mind. Returning to the jury room, she said she was cursed out, even threatened.
Based? 4 persons. Dude, 4-person basically has no place in these sorts of dealings, man. Oh, wow. Florida woman. Holy
You guys
fuck.
keep saying a young black man. I don't see race. I just see a human being. And, one particular person said to me, hey, if you were outside this courtroom, you would have gotten smacked out in the street for this.
A new jury will hear the same evidence after the new year.
Yeah.
She hopes they will do their job.
Put the emotions aside, put the bias aside, put racial aside, just follow the law.
Nicole Insalata for Today in Florida.
Well, jury selection for the new trial is
Wow.
scheduled to happen after the holidays.
Okay, so they're gonna get a new trial, and hopefully, this dude like premeditated with a fucking Goldar arsenal, broke into a chick's house, like an old woman, looks like an Asian named Jill Sue. Yeah, he like busted in, burglarized her, and just like shredded the fuck out of her, like Super Shredder triple combo finished this chick. Super Shredder's not a playable character in any of those Versus games, but he should be. Or like Mortal Kombat, but he should be. Versailles's next trial is set to start on January 3rd, so that's around when I guess we'll figure out if they're actually gonna like stop being psychotic. He's like black and like intersectionality and patriarchy and like white supremacy, blah blah blah. Like I guarantee you that sort of ideology poisoned this jury. And yeah, I mean, adhering to that alone, like if it comes out somehow that you adhere to that, you know what I mean? It should be a disqualifying factor for being a juror just immediately, because like your bias is way the fuck too hardcore. But yeah, I just found that to be insanely kooky. But upload the fucking video. I'm out.
A rapist called Joseph Rosenbaum was released from a mental hospital and then went directly to join the mob that was burning downtown Kenosha. Once he got to the riot, Rosenbaum saw Kyle Rittenhouse and immediately threatened to kill him. Rosenbaum then chased Rittenhouse and tried to pull the gun from his hands. When he did that, Kyle Rittenhouse shot him. So Joseph Rosenbaum died as he had lived, trying to touch an unwilling minor.
Advanced on him with your gun, now your hands down, pointed at him, that he fired, right?
Correct.